or the diffuser to keep the curls nice and to not have them be frizzy and get huge unless you like the big hair look, which I do. But even then, it's still a lot of maintenance because it does knot up. It does tangle. People think that wigs don't tangle. They're human hair. Your hair tangles, they tangle. It's all about how you take care of them. Curly hair definitely needs to be conditioned, deep conditioned, not putting a lot of product in the hair. I like to use like natural hair care products on curly hair so that it doesn't weigh it down. It doesn't have it really greasy, because once it gets greasy and weighed down, it's going to tangle, it's going to mat up, it's going to be terrible, and you're going to be so sad that now you have patches in your wig. So I definitely would recommend, if you are not good at maintaining hair or the patience, don't do like a jerry curl or a kinky curl. Don't do that. Stick with more of a wet and wavy, or even a deep wave you can get away with, because it still gives you some looser curl, but it's not as harder to maintain. You still got to wet it down in the morning, braid it up at night, but it doesn't require a lot more maintenance. Body wave hair, beautiful. It's just a natural wave of the hair. So when you're curling hair and you see like the swoops and then the, nice big ringlets, that is body wave hair. With all wigs, when you're sleeping at night, they should be wrapped up if they're glued onto your head. If they're not, get you a wig head and put that bad boy on at night, and don't sleep with it. Don't do any of that to it. If you do have your wig glued on, I'm going to tell you now, braid it up, because in the mornings it's going to be dry, and now it's kind of starting all over again. Like once you wash the hair, you put all the nice juices and berries in it, so once it dries, it's a nice non-greasy, just silky texture to it. So I highly recommend that. If you do that, you'll see a big difference in the hair the next morning. If you have a wig, you just put it on the wig cap. The wig head. And then that's it. Next morning, put it on. Also, if you have straight or body wave hair, don't put heat on it all the time. Every day, running that hot comb or that flat iron or that curling iron on that hair is going to mess up your hair. It's going to dry it out, and you're going to be really disappointed. Again, you spend all that money and the hair is now beat up. You have to treat human hair, these wigs, as if it's your own hair. You can't neglect it. You can't do anything like that. The reason why most women get these wigs is the versatile styles that you can do. It not necessarily is to neglect and just slap on your head. It is to protect your hair underneath and to give you a lot more versatile styles. So as we move to that, don't put heat on that hair. You got to make sure that when you get that wig out of the box, it is 95% not ready to put on your head out the box. Some wigs that you get are probably 60% ready. You got to customize it for your face, your head shape, and all of that. So it was a point that I wanted to make with that too. So when you get a wig out of the box, I know what I wanted to say. You can get different wigs from the same company, and they're not going to be the same every time. I'm going to tell you because these are people's heads. So they are different hairs. They're not the same hair coming from one person. So the wig is going to be different depending on that person's hair texture. So please understand that you get a wig that's straight from one of the companies that you shop at. Then you go and get another one, maybe a little shorter, and you're like, wow, this hair is totally different from this one. Of course it's going to be. So just understand that, okay? There's some shitty wigs that's out there, yes, but there's also some really great wigs out there. And because you may not know how to take care of them, it may end up being a bad wig for you. So when you get that wig right out the box, it's not going to have the lace already cut if you get the full lace or if you get the lace frontal. So you do have to do a whole other thing, which I will end up having a kind of like a class on how to do that with the lace to get it to be customized. Because honey, when I do mine, nobody knows that it does not come from my scalp. Nobody. I'm telling you, nobody. You can run your hand through my hair. You still be like, what? Oh my gosh, that's a wig? Yep. So when you get it, you do have to customize it with the lace. You do have to actually customize the hair too, because it only is put on the cap, but it's not styled or trimmed or anything to a style. It's just a wig. So if you're not good at trimming or cutting or anything like that, don't touch it. Bring it to a stylist. If you're going to get a wig, you're going to have to break off some coins, at least for 5 or 6 go rounds to see how it's done, if you're that type of person that can learn by watching. But if not, just go ahead and give it to your stylist so she can customize it for you. Okay? Because if you have bangs or if you have a swoop, it has to be customized to your face size. It may not be customized to your face size, so that swoop bang has got to be trimmed up a bit. Also, the braiding of your hair underneath is so important. Listen to me when I say this. The braiding pattern underneath your wig is so important because that is what's going to determine how your wig is going to lay on your head. You see a lot of these videos with the braids going straight back. That not necessarily that's the style that you need for your wig, depending on your head shape. I've got certain wigs where I have some of them going like following the shape of my head in small braids so that when it lays flat, you don't see the ridges or the bumps of that corn braid, that cornrow braid. So it's super important. There's a lot of factors that go into wearing wigs so that it looks really natural. I would get into the gluing of the wig, but I'm going to tell you right now, you probably going to be like, oh my God, my brain is about to explode. Because it's a lot. It's trial and error. I remember I started out using this. It was like the stinkiest glue ever. And it came in a big jar. And it looked like something industrial. Now this was, I want to say, 18 years back. No, not 18. Maybe like 15 years, 16 years back. And I'm putting it on and I'm like, it melts right in. What? It was nothing compared to the glue out now. The glue out now is so less messier. This thing was so messy and it stank so bad, but it held that wig on for a while. So I go back that far. Once I started knowing about the newer glues and stuff, it still took me a while to master that. Don't be fooled by those YouTube videos, because there's definitely a lot of cutting and pasting together of shit you don't even see. And all you see is wow, they did that seamlessly. That was no hassle at all. I could do that. No, you can't. I'm going to tell you, no, you can't. I struggled. I was like, what is this? Tinting the lace? What? It's a whole lot that go into it. This is just an introduction. Hear me when I say. This is just an introduction. So I'm going to stop there because I don't want to overwhelm you with this. But again, if you are not a pro or even somebody, you know your ability, if you're not the type that be like, yeah, I could catch on after a while, don't do it. At least have some professional do it, and then from there you might catch on, okay? But if you do have any questions about wig care, maintenance, because it's a lot. I'm telling you, it's a lot. But once you get it, you got it. And then you'll be able to slay effortlessly. Some days I have it where mine, I'm like, oh my gosh, this wig, it's lifting, or it's not going to be perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect. This is not the end all be all wearing a wig. It's a lot of care that goes into it if you want it to look natural. So email me if you have any questions about wigs, wig care, all that good stuff. Sonny Side of Life Podcast, SONNY, Side of Life Podcast @gmail.com. I am putting together some classes where they're going to be virtual. So we can either do one-on-one or we can do like a group one. And we do the group one, you would have to make sure that you have your wig, depending on what that class is, whatever supplies that you may need. But I promise you, I'm not trying to put together something that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is too much. I can't deal with this. I'll also have products that I recommend. I will be washing wigs with you, showing you step by step how we do this, how we can get it, how it will feel, so that you will have that moment where you're like, oh, wow, okay. Because nobody is right there with us saying, okay, now feel the texture. What do you feel? Or this is the product. Now, what do you get what I'm saying? So I want to bring that to you. Make sure that you send me an email, or if you're on Instagram or Facebook, send me a message. Let's get this thing popping, okay? Let's make sure we all looking good with our wigs. Sonny Side of Life on Facebook, or you can hit me up on Instagram and my personal Facebook page, which is Sonny Mac World, or Sonny Mac is the title, but you can find me at Sonny Mac World. Hopefully those little tips that I gave you did you a little bit of justice. If you're kind of confused and wondering, the skill levels to wigs, and you're shopping right now trying to find something, I can also recommend stuff as well. I used to have a hair business. I don't have it anymore because as of right now, it's such a competitive market. And I think that you can find good wigs everywhere. It just depends on how you take care of them. Not necessarily, not everywhere, but you know what I mean, hopefully. So ending that, I want to kind of give you something good to end off the podcast, because like I said, this past week has been such a big challenge for me personally. I've been I have been